Hey, yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We have a lot of good news coming out and some news that can be some good market moving drivers. With that all being said, we're going to be going through these two little news articles, talk about earnings a little bit. I'm going to be giving you guys some stocks and some plays. So with that all being said, man, you guys don't want to miss out anything in this video. Let's stay profitable this week and let's get started. So first off, man, we have a new deal with Japan. And it is going to be given us. Japan has agreed to invest $550 billion in the US, while its goods sold to America would be taxed 15%. So it's below the 25% tariff that they had before. So this is good, green, bullish overall. And we also have Trump guidelines expected to loosen some rules on AI and pursue some more energy. So you guys can be watching some energy stocks and AI. He's going to be talking about this today, July 23rd, at an event, basically just like a podcast event or something like that. But that can also bring markets up overall as well. With that all being said, man, if we zoom out and look at the overall chart, we have NVIDIA coming back a little bit. We have SPY coming back a decent amount. And honestly, man, trading is looking pretty well. Now let's get to the point that everybody was waiting for, some stocks to trade. So before we get more in depth, let me just talk about earnings just for a second. We have Tesla and Google. Google, what do? They have cloud, they have AI, and they have like way more things that can move other stocks. Other stocks meaning Microsoft, Amazon, and some other ones that can move with Google. Tesla is also big into AI, and if they could talk more about robotics and stuff like that, maybe even potentially buying NVIDIA's chips for this and or using somebody else's chips, those stocks can move as well. So keep all of that on your radar. But first stock I'm looking at is indeed NVIDIA. I personally bought it down here at that 165. Kind of a lucky play, I'm not even going to lie. With that all being said, though, we can still retest that 165, especially if that AI news isn't really looking too good. As well as if we zoom it out just a little bit more, we kind of we rallied up, of course, everybody knows that. And then we kind of just been bouncing around a tiny little range. And then sooner or later, we did start selling off a decent amount. And yesterday was one of the biggest sell-offs that we've seen in a while. And it happened relatively fast. With that all being said, we did shortly recap some, maybe half of the gains. So honestly, man, I really want to see how it opens up today and see how it reacts. I might be seeing if it tests that 170, 171.5 to that 175 level. But honestly, man, just watch that 170 level for NVIDIA. But you can make some decent plays. But if we do start going to the downside, you can make some bearish plays, some put options if you guys want. And that's how you can make a lot of money today. But if we do break above that 170 and we still look pretty bullish to the upside, you guys can play NVIDIA to the upside. Next one, of course, AMD has been moving pretty strong. And we regained most of the losses basically yesterday compared to the video when it was only half. So with that all being said, man, I'm going to be looking at AMD to the upside as well. We're going to be looking at that 157 to that 160. If we can break above that 160, we could probably be even more bullish overall. But if we do start breaking down, we're going to be looking at that 153. If we break below that, we can even fill some gaps all the way down to that 150 to that 149 level. So have your patience with AMD, but you can make some decent plays with AMD. Same thing, man. Another chip stock is going to be AVGO, Broadcom. With all of these chip stocks, keep that event that we just talked about before on your mind and on your radar because that can move these up or down. But Broadcom did sell off a little bit bigger and didn't really come back as fast and still fell down and tested those lows. So I'm going to be looking at the downside for Broadcom overall, especially if we do start selling off. This is going to be one of those easier plays. First thing in the description below, I have a bunch of courses to help you guys become more profitable. I have a long term that gives you guys 40 free stocks to outperform the S&P 500, especially in this time. And I also have, how to read charts, basic beginner things for trading overall, and how to make money off of $0 on your computer. So go check out these courses with that code down below. You guys can get 50% off, and the courses are already relatively cheap. I can promise you, you'll make your money back within the first day of using all the knowledge that you guys learned, and has step-to-step guides too. So honestly, relatively easy to use. Next is going to be my favorite stock right now. I've been making a lot of money off this one, making a lot of plays, but Apple. And only because, as you guys seen for SPY, NVIDIA, the other ones, they sold off a big amount. And then Apple barely even sold off, and it held up pretty strong in this range. And honestly, if you guys don't know, Apple is still down 16% from those April lows. And honestly, man, the lowest that we got is 196. So I think right now it is valued pretty well. And if we can get some AI news, I talk about this all the time, but if we get some AI news, something better with a new phone or something like that, we could probably see Apple break up, make a better breakup. I'm going to be watching that 225 level next. If we could break above that, 230, 240, and even higher. But honestly, this is one of those stocks that is still pretty low. And honestly, whenever we get some market dipping news, just like that rumor that came out of Donald Trump firing Jerome, this stock still didn't fall that much. So I'm personally watching Apple. I just really like Apple overall as a safer play. And honestly, it rallies when other stocks don't. So I'm personally watching Apple overall. Next one is going to be another chip stock, and that's going to be TSM, and that's going to be with that news. And it really just depends on how that news goes. But we did indeed recap most of those losses as well. So I'm going to be looking at that 240 to that 245 level for TSM. But if we do start falling down, look at that 235 to that 230 level. You can make a decent play off this. They beat the earnings and honestly brought up other chip stocks, kind of saved the chip sector honestly overall when they beat those expectations. But now we are falling shortly after those earnings for a lot of chip stocks in general. Next one is going to be Google, just because people are pretty bullish on this earnings, saying that Google is going to be pretty good. But I'm not going to be trading this one today, and I don't recommend you guys trade it as well, just because the premiums are already going to be shot up pretty high. It's going to be overpriced. I don't recommend it. Please just have your patience. Trade it after the earnings. But with that all being said, people are saying it's going to beat nine times in a row their EPS, which is kind of insane. And they've just been on a little bit of a bull rally for the past couple of days. With that being said, we did sell off, but then we recap most of those losses. And then we're also making some new highs, probably going to open up at some new highs for this session, basically. But with that all being said, man, Google is going to be on my radar, especially what they say about their cloud computing, ad revenue, and just everything that they do overall. Honestly, they have a lot going on. Google is a well-diverse company. And honestly, man, Google is one of those companies that I'm surprised it hasn't beat past their all-time highs yet. I know they kind of been lacking because AI is kind of taking over their search engine and their ad revenue, but they got the self-driving cars. I mean, it's basically like Tesla, but they're doing things a little bit better. I'm not even going to lie. Next one isn't going to be Amazon. I'm going to be watching this based on the Google earnings just because they both have cloud services. And if their cloud services beat, you might see Amazon go to the upside as well. And Amazon has been doing pretty well in the short term. I'm going to be watching that 230 to that 231.5 to that 235 overall. But one that I want to talk about is going to be one of those stocks that you guys probably put a lot of money into, probably lost a lot of money, but Open Door Technologies. I'm only covering this because people asked me to. With that being said, we are looking like we are going to the downside now finally, and this hype is over now. So I do not recommend trading Open anymore. But if you guys do see a break above that 5, maybe. But this is one of those trades that you just don't really want to get into unless you're risking money that you don't care about, maybe $100 or something like that. But with that all being said, man, we're looking like we're slowing down a little bit more. We have a little bit less volume, and honestly, just not really looking too good overall. So I think Open Door is over. There are a bunch of other penny stocks, or not penny stocks, sorry, meme stocks that is kind of breaking the wires and stuff like that. But this is just one that I think is overextended now. It had that little 2-day rally, and now people, I don't recommend trading it. Maybe a put option, you can make a decent amount of money, but selling that put option, I don't think you can. You'll be able to sell it, honestly, once it gets down to those lows. But with that all being said, man, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. I'm going to start trying to come out with videos like this every single night after the market closes. And we have our stock market outlook video, things to expect, things to watch, and also some stocks to watch before market opens. With that all being said, though, smash the like button, subscribe. Let's get to 500 subs, watch some other videos, and watch some shorts. Peace out, guys.